Hello everybody, welcome to Logo Academy. In this session we will cover the module of stock and we will start with the transactions. Under transactions you will be able to generate purchase orders, sales orders, receipts, dispatches and other material slips. So let's start with the other material slips. On the bottom of the browser, you will be able to see the slip types. By selecting a slip type, you can generate the slips and save them. It is important to know which slip type is input and which slip type is output, which means if I am generating an input slip, it means that that transaction will increase my inventory on stock. If I am generating an output slip, it means that it will decrease the amount, quantity of my stock in the inventory. So first of all, let's see the opening slip. Right click and add a new record. The slip number section is mandatory in this slip. It can be alphanumeric. You can also use smart coding here as well. Here the important thing is you cannot change the slip date because all the opening slips have the date of the first of the day of the fiscal year. This section, we call it the header of the slip, in which you can number the slip, you can date the slip, and choose the division and the warehouse. And here, the section where we select the material types are called the line of the slips. On the opening slip, you can have two types of material, like you can have two types of record. First one is material, the second one is fixed asset. So we will start with material. On the code section, if you click on three dots, you will be able to see the materials browser, in which you can select the related or needed material code for the slip. So let's start with the commercial goods. Just select it, and now I will continue with the quantity, unit price, and save the slip. Opening slip is an input slip, which means that it increases my quantity in the inventory. So you can see I used commercial good in my opening slip. I had a quantity of 10. So right now I am able to see that 10 quantity on my materials browser. I can also check this by right clicking on it, warehouse totals. Since I have only one warehouse, the main warehouse, I only have one line on the left side of the screen. You can see the opening amount is 10, total input is 10, and physical actual inventory quantities. Let's go back to the other material slips browser. Input from production slip is also an input transaction, which means that it increases my quantity in the inventory. The slip date can be given manually let's say 1st of February, the division and the warehouse can remain the same. And let's choose the material. Let's choose this commercial good and this GoPlus International, GoPlus International 0002, and some of the raw materials. As you can see, the program enables us to make multiple choices. So you don't have to choose the materials one by one each time. Now let's define the quantities. 100, 100, 100, 100. On material slips, you don't have to define a unit price, but if we are going to make some cost calculations, we suggest you to enter the unit prices at the beginning. Say 5, 12. I am just giving the unit prices randomly. Like choosing a material, defining the quantity and the unit price are enough to save a material slip. I click on Save button and go back to Materials browser, and right now we can see the material quantities on the browser. For each material I have quantity of 100. So now let's look at the scrap usage slips. Scrap slip is an output slip, which means it will decrease my quantity in the inventory. As mentioned, the slip number can be given alphanumerically and slip date can be defined. Let's choose March 15th. As an example, I will choose the same materials which I used in input from production slip. So I want my inventory quantity to be decreased by 10 for each of them. And click on Save. Go back to Materials browser, and as you can see, my selected materials in the slip, the quantities of them are decreased by 10. Usage slip is also an output slip. So let's make the same example, the commercial good. Right now I will use the quantity of 10. Save the slip. And now I check my inventory. As you can see, the quantity of the materials which are selected in the usage slip are decreased by 10. Right now I have a quantity of 80. We also have warehouse transfer slip. This is used for transactions to transfer the amounts, the quantities of the inventory from a warehouse A to warehouse B, for example. To be able to use this, you should have more than one warehouse. So to have an example of this slip type, first of all, we should add another warehouse under the same division. I open System Administration. Under Management, Companies, I'm using the third company, Warehouses. Warehouse 01. Add new one, Warehouse 02, and save it. Now I have 3 warehouses. So I go back to the other material slips and add a warehouse transfer slip, new one. You see on the header of the slip, I will take the quantity from the main warehouse and I will transfer it to the warehouse 01. I am using this one. I will take 20 of this commercial good from main warehouse and I transfer it to the warehouse 01. Click on Save button. Now let's check the materials browser. This was the material which I used. As you can see, the total is still 90. It didn't decrease to the 70. How we can see the transaction? Right click on the browser and choose Warehouse Totals. On this browser you will see each warehouse's transactions and quantities. On the main warehouse I have 70 of this material, commercial good, and here you can analyze it. Like input from production, we had 100 of it. Opening amount is 10 and total input is 110. See, on usage and scrap slips we had -20, and warehouse output from the main warehouse is 20, so total output is 40. And on this section, physical inventory and actual inventory is 70 right now. On the left side, if you click on warehouse 01, you will be able to see the transactions under warehouse 01. So here we have only 20 input and it comes from warehouse inputs, and right now my physical and actual inventory are 20 for this material. And on warehouse 02 we don't have any transaction, so this browser is empty. We can make another example for warehouse transfer slip. Again, from the main warehouse we can transfer a material to warehouse 02. On the material section I will use these raw materials Currently we have 80 of them in total. So let's send 40 of them to the warehouse 02. I go back to the materials browser, and first of all let's check the raw material 001. Right click, warehouse totals. As you see, in total we have 80 quantities, but on the main warehouse we have 40, and on the warehouse 02 we have 40 of this material. Again, the same thing, raw material 2. Let's check its warehouse totals. On the main warehouse we have 40, and again on the warehouse 02 we have 40 of it. And as mentioned before, you can see the transaction type. As you can see, it's warehouse input 40. And we have this cycle count slip excess, cycle count slip deficit. If you use cycle count slip excess, it means that you had a cycle count process and you have an extra material in your inventory. This is also an input slip. If you use a material in a cycle count excess slip, it means that your inventory will be increased. Such as, let's use raw material and use quantity of 20. Now let's check the materials. Here, raw material. First we had 80 of it, right now we have 100 of it. So now we can check the warehouse totals. As you can see, here we have total inputs as 120 and cycle count plus is 20. Now let's check the cycle count slip deficit. Again, you had a cycle count process, but you have less than what you have in hand right now. So to decrease that quantity, you can use this slip. This time we can use the raw material 2. Again, let's check the quantity. It's 40. Currently we have 40 of raw material 2, and we have a deficit of 10. Now we expect to have 30 of raw material 2 in our inventory. Again, as you can see, on the main warehouse we have 30 of this raw material 2, which comes from cycle count deficit.
Thank you for watching our video.